Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. I think you all probably know what my plan is for today. I am planning to plant up my 3 stock tanks with an absolutely beautiful fall combination of plants that I got at the garden center yesterday. I am so excited and was so excited for these plants. I almost planted them up yesterday when I got home in like the 100-degree heat, and then I reminded myself it was 100 degrees and I needed to go in the air conditioning. But I am just really excited to get these containers planted up for fall because I mean, look at that. Look at this color. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But before I get started with that, I was actually just walking around the garden earlier this morning, and I noticed that my lion's ear, I'm going to butcher this name, Leonotus leonaris. Basically, it's a shrub that I planted for my October blooming garden last year, is just starting to bloom. And I've had a couple of you ask me about this plant, what happened to this plant, and it's basically been doing nothing all year until now, which is the exact purpose behind the Blooming Garden project. So let me show you. So just on the other side of my meadow, here is this shrub right here, and you all probably haven't even noticed it because it really hasn't been doing anything all season long. It's just been kind of a small shrub, but this time of year, this is when it's supposed to come into its own. And you can see I am starting to get the coolest looking orange blooms that hummingbirds absolutely love, and they are coming at just the right time. When other things are starting to fade and the summer season is kind of coming to an end, that is when this plant is starting to look up and starting to show its true colors. And I'm just so happy to see this because I was a little worried about this plant. Like I said, a lot of you have been asking me about this plant, and there was just nothing to show. It was just like green foliage, and it's kind of like Caryopteris, where there's just, it's just kind of some green leaves on a plant and there's nothing going on until fall, and then all of a sudden it starts going crazy. So it looks like there's buds all over this plant, and I am really excited to see how it does over the next couple weeks and see if it really starts blooming like crazy. They say this guy can get 3 to 6 feet tall. I would say it's probably about 4 feet tall right now, maybe 4.5 feet tall. And I planted it, like I said, last October, so it's been here for a year. But it was just really exciting to see these guys kind of poking out this morning. All right, so back to my containers over here. So you can see the soil has dipped down quite a bit. Some of it is just because it settled, and some of it is because I took out a lot of plants. So it definitely needs to be refreshed, and I am not going to pull any of the old soil out. I am just going to top it, and that seems to work perfectly well for me, especially because most of the plants that I plant in these containers like this are very shallow rooted, so I don't have to worry about anything going deep. Like if I was going to grow like potatoes or something in here, then I would worry about how deep the nutrients went down, but there's not too much to worry about it with these plants. At least that's my opinion. So I actually got a couple bags of potting soil. I love this potting soil. I just get this one at my local garden center, and I'm just going to top them off. They're all hooked up to drip already, so it should be pretty easy. And then I will just get started planting these beautiful plants. But let me fill them up with soil, and then I'll show you guys a closer look at what plants I'm planting in here today. Okay, so all the stock tanks are filled up with fresh soil. I have to say, I love the smell of this bag soil. I know that's probably so weird, but I bet a lot of you are out there are like me and love the earthy smell of this freshly opened soil. I mean, you know, it's compost and all that kind of stuff, but I just absolutely love the smell of it. It's kind of like Nepeta. I love the smell of Nepeta. I actually hate the smell of lantana. I think it smells gross. But it does bring back some good memories. And I think just opening bags of soil brings back good memories of working in the garden and being out in nature. I just love it. I hate smelling like this, and I smell like it right now because I've been messing around with it. But it does smell so, so good. It's one of my favorite smells. All right, so I got all of the plants up in the area, the spots where I want them. So first of all, over here, this beautiful plant. This is a relatively new plant for Proven Winners. It's called Unplugged Red, and it definitely is red, but it's more of like a magenta type red. Does that make sense? It's not like a pure red. This one will get up to 2 feet tall. It is hardy down to zone 9. So if you live in zone 9, this will be a perennial or a temperennial for you. I can see that I've got buds all over this one, and it blooms all season long. It really, really is a really great bloomer. And they have this one in other colors as well, but red I think is the newest one, and it's just really, really pretty. Actually, I take that back. I think the white, or maybe white and red came out at the same time. Yeah, that's what it is. White and red came out the same year. I have white over there in my 3 containers over there, and it's just a great, great plant. Then this one right here, this actually is not a rudbeckia. It's called an eckibecka, which is a combination between a coneflower and a rudbeckia. And they actually perform really, really well. I planted eckibecka in my friend Noelle's house when I installed all those Vigo beds in her house in her garden, and the eckibecka, she told me, is doing absolutely fabulous. So I ended up choosing eckibecka instead of rudbeckia for these containers because at the garden center they had these are called yellow. That's the name of it, eckibecka yellow, and I just loved this dark brown center. I love that look. I think it looks so pretty, and I think it looks so fall. And there were other rudbeckias that were really pretty, but there was like Prairie Sun that has a green eye, and then there was Maya that was a little bit more fuzzy and didn't have as distinct of an eye. So I really wanted the distinctive brown eye because I just think that is so, so pretty. These will overwinter. They're hardy down to -20, so I'm not totally sure what zone that is. But they will definitely overwinter in my garden, and so I will be transplanting these out into my garden after I'm done. Then there is Super Bean Plum Wine right here. Isn't this beautiful? I think I'm going to get a lot more of this next year and put it in my garden because I just love this rich color right here. When I saw it at the garden center, I knew I had to have it, and so perfect for fall. And then, like I was saying to you all yesterday, I just really like that combination. Like, look at how pretty that is. I just think that that's so gorgeous. Had to have some orange. So of course, some orange marigolds. These are called Taishan orange. They're just an annual, nothing too special. They only get up to about 12 inches tall, but I ended up getting marigolds in place of mums because I think the marigolds will last so much longer for me. Mums they bloom once and then they're pretty much done. And so I just really want more bang for my buck out of a plant. And so I usually steer away from mums. I've tried them a bunch of times, but they bloom and then they're done for me. And then I feel like I have to replace them. So I'm going to go with these. Another really great option as a replacement for mums is Super Bells or Calibrachoa. They bloom a ton. Last year in these containers, I planted Calibrachoa. I actually first planted mums. They bloomed out within 2 weeks, and then I replanted them with Calibrachoa, and the Calibrachoa lasted through December, basically. It was really cool. Then I have this one. This is an ornamental pepper called Wicked Red. I just thought it was just the coolest thing. Isn't that just so neat and glossy? And it just brings a different texture to this container. And then on either side, I'm going to have trailers of this Ipomoea that is called Black Heart. So I think this will be an absolutely fantastic container. I'm going to do all 3. I am going to get some slow release fertilizer to put in with it because we are still very, very hot and we are still watering every single day. So putting in some Proven Winners slow release fertilizer is going to make sure that these plants get lots of nutrition that they need to keep blooming until my first frost. And this year they're predicting first frost to be late November. So I still have a very long time with these beautiful plants. Don't these just look fantastic? They are so beautiful. I love containers when you first plant them up and they look good, and you know over the next couple weeks they're just going to look better and better and better. I think they're absolutely beautiful. They did need a good drink of water, but gosh, they look better already. I watered them and then I went through and I watered them again. So they're nice and soaked in with water. They can suck up all that beautiful moisture and enjoy this September heat. But I have to say, these are just simply gorgeous. So I just want to encourage all of you to get some fall containers planted for yourselves. I know fall is a short season and sometimes it seems like it's not worth it to put the time and effort into putting in fall containers, but I promise you, take it from me, I was one of those who thought it wasn't worth it. And then last year I really put effort into fall containers and I enjoyed them so very much. So I will have these through Thanksgiving, but even if I only had them through Halloween, I would be completely happy with them. So get out into the garden center, find something beautiful and some beautiful fall colors, and plant up some fall containers. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.